Yeah, Golden State Warriors fans. What a game, what a performance, what a statement from this team after everything we've been through this season, after every doubt, every rough patch, every question mark. Tonight was about answers. Tonight was about grit. Tonight was about showing the league that this team still knows how to fight, how to rise to the moment, and how to dominate when it matters most. We're talking about a Game 7 win on the road against all odds with the pressure sky high and the margin for error at 0. And the way this squad delivered, it deserves every ounce of celebration. Let's break it down. 33 points, 9 3-pointers drilled. That kind of performance doesn't just happen. It comes from hours of preparation, deep trust in teammates, and a mentality that refuses to back down. It's the kind of night that reminds us why we believe in this core. The team now advances to the second round of the Western Conference playoffs, and the first battle against Minnesota is set for Tuesday. That's just around the corner, and while we're hyped about tonight, there's already an eye on what's coming next. One of the key players is still questionable for that game, which adds another layer of uncertainty, especially considering the insane workload our starters just went through. Most of them logged close to 40 minutes on the court. That's a heavy shift. The kind of thing that leaves you sore in places you didn't even know could hurt. But none of that mattered tonight, because tonight was about winning. Tonight was about survival. And they did it. There was a moment in the game when it looked like things might slip away. We had a strong lead, but momentum is a fragile thing in basketball. A couple of bad possessions, a few missed shots, and suddenly the opponent is right back in it. That's exactly what happened late in the third quarter. The energy in the arena shifted. The crowd got louder. But what did our team do? They didn't panic. They regrouped, locked in defensively, and turned it up a notch in the fourth quarter. The result? A low-scoring war turned into a final period blowout. We stretched the lead to 20 points, shutting the door in dramatic fashion. You could feel the intensity in every possession. Loose balls were fought for like gold. Players diving on the floor, arms tangled, bodies flying. This was playoff basketball at its rawest. And through it all, the Warriors showed heart. We saw players who've been through the wars before stepping up and delivering. One guy was locked in from the tip-off, setting the tone early. Another who's been working back into form over. The past few weeks had a huge bounce-back performance, silencing some of the noise and reminding everyone of his value. Before we get deeper into the analytics and matchups, let's just pause to appreciate what this means. Winning a Game 7 on the road is no small feat. That's the kind of accomplishment that sticks with a team, that builds belief, that creates momentum heading into a brutal series against a younger, faster, hungry Minnesota squad. Tuesday is going to be tough, no doubt. But with this kind of energy and execution, the Warriors are very much alive in this playoff race. Now let's talk numbers, because they tell a fascinating story. One player stood out with a mix of smart decisions, excellent spacing, and well-timed passes. He's not always the flashiest, but his impact was undeniable. The decisions made during the last offseason, especially around the draft and trades, are beginning to pay off. New acquisitions contributed in meaningful ways. Guys who were question marks are turning into exclamation points. There was one player in particular who had been struggling in recent games. People were starting to wonder if he'd lost his touch, if he could still deliver in big moments. Well, consider that question answered. His performance tonight? Clutch, confident, clinical. He was hitting shots, moving without the ball, and making defensive plays that shifted momentum. And then, of course, there's another piece of the puzzle. A guy who may not stuff the stat sheet every night, but brought exactly what was needed. Energy, rebounding, and hustle plays that don't show up in box scores, but win you playoff games. The team's depth was tested. One player got in early but didn't really find his rhythm. Another couldn't even suit up due to injury, which tightened the rotation even further. Still, the core held it down. Minutes were high. Yes, nearly every starter went over 40, but they delivered. That does raise questions, though. With such a quick turnaround before Game 1 in Minnesota, can the legs recover in time? Is it worth resting a key player in that opening game to ensure he's fresh for Game 2? That's a tough call. But given the experience and the stakes, the coaching staff will have to weigh all options carefully. Let's also not overlook what happened on the other side. The opposing team? They didn't have that guy who could take over. No 30-point night. No single player who put the game on his back. One of their main shooters struggled heavily from deep. Their offense, normally pretty potent, couldn't find a rhythm. And that's not just them falling short. That's Warriors defense locking in. The way we forced turnovers, contested shots, and crashed the boards was textbook. Sure, they had 14 offensive rebounds. That's a big number. But they turned those into just 34 second chance points. That's not enough to swing a game like this. That's containment. That's control. And how about the long-range shooting? The Warriors attempted 12 more three-pointers and knocked down 18 in total. That's 36 points from behind the arc compared to just 6 for the other side. That's your ball game, right? There! Even though they were a bit better from the free throw line, it wasn't nearly enough to close that gap. 14-point win on the road, Game 7. You can't overstate the importance of that. Now we've got to zoom in on one particular matchup, Draymond Green versus Steven Adams. In their previous meeting, Adams had a solid game, but tonight was a different story. Draymond was locked in. He neutralized Adams, kept him off the boards, and made him uncomfortable all night. It's those little battles that make the difference in a playoff series. And across the board, we were just more physical, more disciplined, and more prepared. Let's also not forget the context here. The Warriors eliminated this opponent just like they did back in 2015. That year, they made it all the way to the finals but came up short. Then in 2016, they returned and won it all. In 2018, they were champions again. 2019, a tough loss. But now, in 2025, could this be another special run? The way this team fought tonight, you have to believe something's brewing. And if we're talking individual brilliance, let's give some credit to Buddy Hield. That man can flat out score. His recent outputs have been unpredictable, but explosive. 17 here, 15 there, then boom, 43 and 33. He's a wild card, but when he's hot, there's almost no one better at spacing the floor and hitting big shots. The way he stretches defenses creates opportunities for everyone else. But ultimately, it comes back to team identity. The Warriors didn't just win this game, they imposed their will. The opposing team had their moments, sure. They led briefly in the first quarter, had a run or two to cut the lead, but they never felt in control. The closest they got was within 6 points, and then the Warriors struck again, an 8-point lead, then another run, then a crushing sequence of plays that buried the momentum. A 120 run? That's not a typo. That's dominance. The other team looked rattled, young, a little overwhelmed by the moment, and that's what experience does. That's what championship DNA looks like. The Warriors have been here before. They didn't flinch. They didn't get rattled. They executed. Cool, composed, lethal. But looking ahead, the road doesn't get easier. The series against Minnesota starts Tuesday, May 6th. It's a long flight. Then Game 2 hits just 48 hours later on Thursday, May 8th. There's barely any breathing room. After that, the team travels back to San Francisco and gets 1 day to recover before Game 3. It's a tight schedule, the kind that tests your depth, your conditioning, your will. Minnesota is young, athletic, relentless. But this Warriors squad, they've got mouths, they got scars, they've got banners, and with that, it brings up a question. Do you throw everything into Game 1, or do you manage minutes, maybe even hold a guy back for strategic rest? It's a gamble either way. But with playoff experience comes playoff. Our wisdom. The coaching staff will make their call. But don't be surprised if Game 1 is used to fill things out, with the real push coming in Game 2 and beyond. Also, give some love to the front office. The trades made before the season, the player acquisitions that at first seemed questionable. They're paying off now. One of those additions had key buckets tonight. Another made 2 defensive stops that turned the tide. You can't win in the playoffs without depth. And right now, Golden State is showing just enough depth to stay dangerous. Basketball is unpredictable. It's fast. It's emotional. And right now, the Warriors are on a wave. Let's keep riding. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The Golden State Warriors are reportedly on the verge of pulling off a surprising trade that could change the landscape of their roster. According to multiple sources, the Warriors are very close to finalizing a deal that would bring Buddy Hield to the Bay Area in exchange for an undisclosed package of players and assets. While the details of the trade remain under wraps, the move is seen as a bold and unexpected step by the Warriors front office. Hield, a sharpshooter known for his three-point prowess, would add a significant scoring dimension to a Warriors team already packed with offensive firepower. The 30-year-old has been one of the NBA's most consistent long-range shooters since entering the league in 2016, and his addition could further enhance Golden State's already potent offensive system. With the likes of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, Hield would join a team that has already established itself as one of the most dangerous in the league. For the Warriors, the trade seems to be part of a larger plan to strengthen their bench and maintain their competitiveness in the Western Conference. The team has been in a transition phase in recent seasons, trying to balance the aging core of Curry, Thompson, and Green with the influx of young talent. Hield's shooting ability will provide the Warriors with much-needed scoring depth, especially as the team looks to manage the workload of its veteran stars during the regular season. What makes this trade particularly intriguing is the shock factor. The Warriors, known for their high-profile moves and championship ambitions, rarely make deals that come as a complete surprise. The acquisition of Hield, a player with a reputation for being one of the league's best three-point shooters, signals that Golden State is committed to maintaining its championship window for as long as possible. Adding another weapon to their already star-studded roster could be the move that propels the Warriors back into title contention in the coming seasons. However, the trade raises some interesting questions about the Warriors' roster construction. The team's bench depth has been a topic of discussion for some time, and while Hield's arrival would certainly bolster that unit, it remains to be seen how the trade will impact the overall dynamics of the roster. Hield's fit with the existing rotation, particularly alongside the Warriors' current backcourt, will be a critical factor in the success of this deal. The next few days are set to be crucial for the Warriors as they move closer to making the trade official. If the deal goes through, it could be the latest in a series of bold moves by the team, demonstrating their unwavering commitment to staying at the top of the NBA. With the addition of Buddy Hield, the Warriors could very well be setting themselves up for another deep playoff run. Time will tell whether this shocking trade ends up being a stroke of genius or a risky gamble. Either way, the Warriors are making it clear that they are not content to rest on their laurels. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.